Welcome to Chatsunami. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Chatsunami. My name's Satsunami and joining me today is none other than the top tier podcaster himself, Andrew. Andrew, welcome back.
Chatsunami invited Andrew. It was super effective.
Well done, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, how are you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been a fun, festive period. We've actually not been on to record with each other for quite a number of weeks now, so it's nice to get back into the seat in front of the microphone. I've been given a few toys to help with the podcasting over the last couple of months, so hopefully things sound nice and clear for everyone at home and makes it a much easier process in editing for Satsunami.
It's been 84 years indeed, Andrew. It's been 84 years. Yeah, today we are coming at you with a topic that, quite honestly, I'm quite surprised you and I haven't done an episode on it. That, of course, being the wonderful world of Pokemon.
Yeah, for sure. I know you've done quite a few episodes now with other guests. I think it might have only been Craig, but you've done a few episodes with him, and I know there's some more to come this year. So it was nice to be able to hop on and contribute my thoughts on the series.
I can't wait to hear your spicy takes today, because we are indeed going to be doing another tier list, which I think the last one, at least Pokemon-wise, that we did for the show was with Craig and I when we did our tier list on Generation 2 and 3. And yeah, that was certainly an interesting list. I'm not going to lie. It's a very, very interesting list. But today we are keeping it old school. We're going retro. We are going to be focusing solely on Generation 1. Now, before we go into this, what is your experience with this generation? Was this your generation growing up?
This was my original generation, yeah. I did grow up with the games and the show from the very beginning. So I think I got to grips with the games best from Generation 3 onwards. Like, that was the first one that I completed and understood what was going on in the game. But I hold such a special place for Generation 1 because it was what I played. I watched the TV show. I had the trading cards. I used to play Pokemon Stadium as well. I had such a huge interest in this initial generation, and I've gone back and played it more so than any other, especially when the remake Fire Red came out for the Game Boy Advance, I want to say. I played that more than possibly any other video game that I've ever played, maybe with some exceptions, but I played that so often that I'm more familiar with this generation than any other. What about yourself?
Yeah, I definitely played this growing up. This was my very first entry into the series with Pokemon Yellow, which I didn't realise came out in the year 2000. I thought it was way earlier than that, but I played it, absolutely adored it. It was just one of my favourite games of all time. Then I was introduced to Pokemon Silver, which I loved even more. It was definitely the game that I think I spent the most hours on, because I played it so much that the battery died on me, so I lost all of my old original Pokemon on it. And then throughout the years, I kind of had a love-hate relationship with Pokemon. I played Sapphire when it came out. I loved it. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately for yourself, we're instead going to be focusing on Generation 1 today. So see, without any further ado, will we jump in and start wrecking a lot of people's childhood with this tier list?
Yeah, you and I have previously done one tier list before, and I was saying prior to the recording that we were very amicable, I felt, with our kind of decision-making and our conversations on that. And I think that might have been the either Disney or Pixar tier list. We did the Pixar tier list, and we were pretty amicable. I don't know if that's going to be the case today, which might make for a more interesting listen.
So as I get my fisticuffs ready, we have 5 tiers that we are going to be running through today. For our S/top tier, we have top percent of Rattatas. For our A tier, we have Shiny Charizard. For B, we've got I Wanna Be the very best. For C tier, we've got Professor OK, I guess. And last but not least, for our undesirable tier, we have your Da sells Moo Moo Milk. And we hope that none of these Pokemon end up in that tier, but without any further ado, let's listen to some messages and we'll be right back. Welcome to Chatsunami, a variety podcast that discusses topics from gaming and films to anime and general interests.
Previously on Chatsunami, we've analysed what makes a good horror game, conducted a retrospective on Pierce Brosnan's run as James Bond, and listened to us take deep dives into both the Sonic and Halo franchises.
Also, if you're an anime fan, then don't forget to check us out on our sub-series, Chatsunami, where we dive into the world of anime. So far, we've reviewed things like Death Note, Princess Mononoke, and the hit Beyblade series.
If that sounds like your cup of tea, then you can check us out on Spotify, iTunes, and all good podcast apps.
As always, stay safe,
Stay awesome, and most importantly,
Stay hydrated.
Join me, Slade, and my two co-hosts
Joey and Tim
over at the Video Game Club, where once every 2 weeks we review a video game, not too dissimilar to a book club.
podcast.
You can you can find us at the Video Game Club on all good podcast providers and some sketchy ones as well.
I have a proposition for you.
go on.
So, for the first three, I feel as if it would maybe be in our best interest to rank the starters on the same tier, purely to not get hate mail. I would honestly say, see, for the three starters, I would genuinely put them at the top percent of Rattata. And when I say starters, I just mean the first tiers for Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle.
I was going to suggest we discuss the initial evolutions for those three before we move on to the next ones as well. I do think Squirtle deserves to be the top percentage of Rattatas. Controversially, Charmander and Bulbasaur would go in Shiny Charizard. For me, they're okay. I don't think that Charmander's as cool as a later evolution of his, but I am willing to concede those three to be in the top percentage of Rattatas.
I loved how we were like, no, we're going to be harsher. It's like, yes, I can see. Jokes aside, I completely agree with you there. I feel as if they are the most iconic, see, in terms of starters in any generation.
They are the ones people know best, I would say. I think just because this might not be true. So I say it was when Pokemon was at its most popular.
No, that's fair to say, because I mean, even with Generation 2, it was really popular, but Gen 1 was when things really took off.
But I'm just wondering if more copies were sold for the later games than the initial games.
So next on the list, we have the... now this is a tough one, because we've got the three middle evolutions. We've got Ivysaur, Charmeleon, and Wartortle. Now, personally, would you say that these are on the same tier?
I'm generally of the opinion for starter Pokemon that the middle tier is always the weakest, and I don't think that the first generation is really an exception to that. I don't really hold much of a relationship with them. It always felt like a stopgap of just like, all right, need to get to final evolution for these particular Pokemon. I don't know that they're necessarily bad, but I think they're pretty whatever. I remember from the anime, he didn't evolve Squirtle or Bulbasaur, but Charmander evolved into Charmeleon, and he was just a bit of a dick for a while, and he continued to be a dick when he was Charizard, but he was just a bit kind of impertinent. He's like a mopey teenager. So my controversial opinion, middle tier. I want to be the very best.
For all three of them?
For all three of them.
See, I would agree with you there, to be honest. Yeah, the middle tier, I think the only exception, see off the top of my head, and this is going to Generation 2, but the only exception for that is Bayleaf. I mean, I feel as if I prefer that to the other evolutions, but that's literally the only exception I can think of off the top of my head, because usually the middle tier, as you said, are, yeah, basically just, they're there. They're like a means to an end to get the cool Pokemon. Speaking of which, that's who we've got next. We have Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise. Now, Charizard and Blastoise, I get the feeling you're going to put them in the top percent of Rattatas.
Yes, I do think that Charizard and Blastoise deserve to be in the top percentage of Rattatas. They are among my favorite Pokemon. Blastoise is one of my favorite Pokemon for sure. Charizard, I think, is up there definitely. I think probably deserves to be there. I could hear an argument for Shiny Charizard because I do think, as much as I do love Charizard, I do think he's a little bit overrated. Venusaur, I don't hate Venusaur, but like, I'm not interested in Venusaur.
I would definitely say Venusaur's the weaker of the three, which, I mean, I'm a Bulbasaur fan. I love Bulbasaur. I think he's one of the coolest ones, but for his final evolution, I would put it as Shiny Charizard even. even.
For Venusaur?
For Venusaur, yeah. I'm willing to agree that Charizard and Blastoise are top percentage, but Venusaur, I would say shiny Charizard, because I don't think it's as bad as the middle tiers, but at the same time, I don't think it's got quite that edge to put it in the top percent of Rattata.
I think it's somewhere in between those two. I think I would make an argument for either top tier of the middle group or bottom tier shiny Charizard. I don't think Venusaur is particularly interesting. I think it looks the silliest of the three. I didn't enjoy its moveset as much as the other two. One of its big power moves was like Solar Beam, but it required build up to be able to do that, unless it was a sunny day. So I'm willing to put it in either B tier or lower A tier.
I would say shiny Charizard.
Okay. I was in between, so I'm willing to put that in shiny Charizard. Blastoise goes straight to the top.
Yeah, Blastoise and Charizard, I will admit, they look cooler, and I'm just turning away the model I've got of Bulbasaur there. Don't look at me.
And that's Bulbasaur, though. He isn't defined by his later evolutions. You could give him an Everstone, or whatever it's called, and just keep him a Bulbasaur forever.
That is true. That is true.
I keep saying he. It's a gender non-specific.
So next on the list, we have the three bug lines. We have Caterpie, Metapod, and Butterfree. We have also got Weedle, Kakuna, and Beedrill. I've got a particular bias against Beedrill, just purely because I don't like bees. There's no other reason. I just think the thought of a giant bee is terrifying.
I like Beedrill. I think they look cool and they're quite a fun Pokemon to have in your party. So I think Beedrill is decent. I'm not a fan of Kakuna or Metapod.
I'm not a fan of them either, but do you know what gives Kakuna the edge? Do you remember all those memes where it looks as if he's wearing a shirt and tie?
I do like that he looks like he's wearing a shirt and tie.
I mean, where's Metapod? I mean, Metapod's got the weird, you know, that optical illusion of like the rabbit and the duck? It's like, what do you see first? Metapod's got one of those weird faces where if you look at it one way, he's facing one way, but if you look at it the other way, it looks like he's frowning with a very pointy nose.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that now, actually.
Yeah, it's really weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't justify putting Metapod anywhere higher than your dad says Moo Moo Milk. I just can't. I think it's such an annoying Pokemon to encounter. It just uses Harden. It's rubbish. I do not like Metapod, and I'm willing to send it into the fiery pits of your dad says Moo Moo Milk.
For any complaints, please send them to Andrew. So what about Kakuna then? Would you go for Professor OK, I guess, or...
I would also want to put them in your dad sells Moo Moo Milk. Are you strongly in favor of Professor OK, I guess?
It's just the shirt and tie combo. I mean, look at, you know, the Virgin Metapod versus the Chat Kakuna. You know what? I could easily put him in your dad sells Moo Moo Milk, but I do think he's dressed very sharply.
We'll put Kakuna in Professor OK, I guess.
What about their pre-evolutions, Caterpie and Weedle?
I hold a little bit of nostalgia for Caterpie from the Pokemon series. It is kind of cute. It is useless, but it's kind of cute. So I'm willing to put it somewhere between. I'm being very on the fence here with all these, but I'm going to put it in between I want to be the very best and Professor OK, I guess.
I would probably go for I want to be the very best, purely for the fact it is like the first Pokemon you're likely to catch beyond, you know, the generic ones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Weedle has that as well, but I mean, I suppose they are iconic enough to be in I want to be the very best, but then you're saying that Caterpie and Weedle are the same as Ivysaur to Wartortle.
There's tiers within those tiers, I feel like. You can be at the lower end of that tier. If we were going to do this properly, we'd have
sub-tiers, yeah.
Sub-tiers, we'd have 10 tiers almost, but like, that's not interesting. So we'll be more firm and we'll say this goes in this tier, this goes in this tier. I think Caterpie deserves to be in the very best.
Okay, same with Weedle?
No, fuck Weedle.
Okay, Dad says Moo Moo Milk.
The thing with Weedle is that you're going through Viridian Forest, you get hit with Poison Sting, and now you have to head back down to...
Viridian City.
Is Viridian City not the one you come out after?
No, that's Pewter City.
Oh, okay. So you head back down to Viridian City and you have to go get an antidote, or you have to go back to the Pokemon Center because now your Pokemon are all poisoned and you're about to die. And if you're on a Nuzlocke, it's one of the biggest screw-overs like early in the game. I do not like Weedle. I'm willing to put it in your dad says Moo Moo Milk because of how annoying it is.
Agreed.
We're on to Butterfree and Beedrill. So, Butterfree.
Shiny Charizard at least, surely.
Okay, so it's a complicated one because I would not use a Butterfree in any time I would play it now, but it has been in my squad before, and I have that nostalgia from the TV show for it. I have the Leaving Ash episode of the show, which was very emotional. It was useful as well because it could learn some flying type moves, which was good when you got to like the grass gym, but it was quite weak. You often kind of used it as just that one that would learn all like the status effect moves. You'd give it sleep powder and stun powder and poison powder and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of just held that position in the team. I'm more keen to put it into B tier. What is your argument for Shiny Charizard?
You know what? I could probably concede to want to be the very best because it's more, as you said, it's iconic. You've got that very poignant episode of the anime as well. But I mean, it learns moves like Confusion, which is game breaking in Generation 1, but it is also very squishy because it's a butterfly.
I'd forgotten about the psychic moves it can learn. That is quite useful.
I mean, I'm happy to drop down to B tier for that. I wouldn't say it's a staple, like you need Butterfree, but I do think it's a very valuable member of the team. Probably say the same for Beedrill though, to be honest. I do think, jokes aside about being terrified of bees, I do think he is a very good asset for the team.
I do like me a Beedrill. Beedrill can learn a lot of the hidden moves as well, which is quite useful from what I remember. It could learn Cut, and I think it could learn Strength maybe Rock Break, I'm not sure, but Beedrill could learn quite a few useful moves to be your kind of party member that held those HMs. And Pin Needle was quite fun, and just trying to like battle through with Beedrill. And then going to another content creator, watching Game Grumps play Pokemon Fire Red, they like heavily depended on their Beedrill, and like there was a whole kind of narrative around how Beedrill was like their best Pokemon, and that was always quite fun. I'm willing to put that into I want to be the very best as well, because I recognize that it's not amazing, but it's still pretty cool Pokemon, and I would put it just slightly ahead of Caterpie.
So next up we have the Pidgey line. So we've got Pidgey, Pidgeotto, and Pidgeot, which this might be semi-controversial. I would probably say for Pidgey is Professor OK, I guess, but it's Pidgeotto that is the more iconic out of the three.
I was also going to talk about this, that the second line is actually my favorite of the three, which is, we were discussing that earlier, it's not very common for a lot of evolutions, but it's my favorite of those.
But Pidgeot's good, but he's not iconic. And plus, technically, he does get called Pidgeotto in the Pokemon film, which is what I learned today. There's a guy with a Pidgeot and he goes, "Oh yeah, high winds are a breeze for Pidgeotto here." And it's like, you're a liar, sir. You're a damn dirty liar.
Well, I'm trying to see what the main differences in appearance between them are. Pidgeot has like a bit of a bigger belly, and like its like hair thingy is, I guess, a bit straighter. It doesn't go down its back as much. And then its talons look more like inwards, whereas Pidgeotto is more out grasping, like it's about to grab a mouse.
Pidgeot's more, it's got the yellow and red stripes on the hair, like on the top of its head, whereas those stripes are more for Pidgeotto's tail. Personally, I would say that, as I said, Pidgey, Professor OK, I guess, Pidgeotto, maybe I want to be the very best at the very least.
I think Pidgeotto deserves to be Shiny Charizard. I really like Pidgeotto.
Okay, I'll concede to that. I was going to say it, but then I was like, do I want to put him up that high? But I do think he's iconic.
Pidgeot, I'm between I want to be the very best and okay, I guess. I don't really hold that much attachment to Pidgeot.
I would say okay, I guess, as well.
All right, just slightly ahead of Pidgey for me. Right, I'm putting it ahead of Kakuna. Screw Kakuna.
Is that business suit that saved him?
You're on thin ice, Kakuna.
So our next group are the Rattata brothers, Rattata and Raticate, which I'm going to be honest, I would actually, see, this is the kind of weird thing, because with Pidgey, I think Pidgey's okay, you know, he's not the best, but I would say Rattata and Raticate are very underrated.
I wish I could like screen share with you right now, because I'm just hovering Rattata like in the very top and ahead of the star Pokemon, the top percentage.
Will we put them in the top %?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I would argue I want to be the very best for Rattata. I'm not as big a fan of Raticate. I think partly because it kind of creeps me out.
yeah, it's got big teeth and the big tail. The only reason I'm saying yes is, in terms of I want to be the very best for Raticate, is because I did a Nuzlocke live on Twitch, and I always remember, I actually don't remember if you watched it at the time, it was like the Pokemon Green one.
I think I came into some of it.
Yeah, and I had a Raticate called Kevin, and he ended up dying, quote unquote, in the run, but because I caught a Haunter, I ended up calling it Kevin after. So I would personally say B, because I think normal types are severely underrated, especially Raticate. I feel as if he is really underrated.
I don't have that strong an opinion other than it kind of creeps me out. So if you think it deserves to be in the B tier, I'm happy to put it there. I would lean more towards okay, I guess. But yeah, I don't have a strong opinion on that.
We'll go for B tier then.
Yeah, let's go B tier.
So next up, we have two Pokemon that clearly are in the top percent of Rattata, because Professor Oak himself says you should use a Master Ball on Fearow, and I even used a Master Ball on Spearow as well. Remember when we played in Uni?
For context, we played Pokemon Fire Red, and while Satsunami had control and I just got the Master Ball, he went into the tall grass, saw a Spearow, and threw the Master Ball at it. He had, I did not realize prior to that, had saved the game, so he just reset from before that. But like for a moment, I thought he'd used my Master Ball, and I was not happy.
The reason I say for Fearow is I used to have a Pokemon guidebook, and remember when you used to get guidebooks, there was like a speech bubble beside Professor Oak, and they'd be like, oh, you should only use the Master Ball for important and strong Pokemon like Fearow, and you were just like, what the hell, Professor Oak? Personally, I would put these guys at okay, I guess. Maybe at a push, I want to be the very best, but that's where I'm kind of leaning, because I never really liked these.
No, I really dislike both of them, to be honest, but more so I dislike Spearow. I would be willing to put it into your Dad Cells Moo Moo Milk, because I just don't like it. It's just one of those annoying ones you used to encounter frequently in the grass, and you're just like, ugh, go away.
What, for both of them?
No, more so for Spearow. Fearow, I could concede to okay, I guess. But yeah, I do not like Spearow. I think that it's a lame Pokemon. It's a dirty Pokemon.
I mean, it attacked Pikachu and Ash. Come on now.
It is quite iconic from the very first episode. I will give it that it's a very angry bird that you encounter pretty much first thing in your Pokemon journey if you started watching the show as a kid. So it does have that going for it, but maybe I have internalized resentment for it because of it attacking Pikachu.
It's okay. You're amongst friends here.
The trauma I feel towards Spearow.
Next up, we have Ekans and Arbok. I would say Arbok is probably in like I want to be the very best, because it's a lot more iconic. Ekans is just a snake though.
I kind of like Ekans' face. I think it has a funny face, and I believe that Jessie from Team Rocket had Ekans before, and it then evolved into Arbok. If I remember correctly, I don't think she started with Arbok.
No, you're right. Yeah, she started with Ekans and James started with Coughing.
Yeah, you have a bit of kind of nostalgia for Ekans from the very kind of beginning of the show, and also both of them make a fun noise when they come out of the bowl, like Ekans, Arbok. So they're cool. It is stupid that their names are just Snake and Cobra backwards, but they're fun. Ekans would probably be lower, be the very best, upper, okay, I guess. And Arbok would be lower, be the very best for me, I think.
Well, we just put them both at be the very best.
Sure.
I think Arbok is the more interesting one for sure, but I will concede to that. If it's a low be the very best, then Ekans probably deserves to slither his way up there.
The design for Arbok with its Cobra out flat panel is interesting, and it's got like a scary face on that. I think that's cool. Like Ekans is just quite boring. It's just a purple snake. They did add a like rattly bit at the back of it, but it just isn't very interesting. A lot of them are variations of an animal, whereas Ekans just feels like it's just an animal that they like changed color on in Photoshop.
Do you think we should bump it down then to Professor OK?
Yeah, I think so, to be honest.
I feel as if you talked your way into... Okay, next up we have the iconic duo Pikachu and Raichu. Personally, I would put both of them up in top percent of Rattata, purely because Pikachu is, you know, he's the mascot, he's the most iconic. Without Pikachu, you wouldn't really think of Pokemon without seeing Pikachu, and Raichu I think just gets a really bad rap compared to Pikachu.
From me, mostly. I don't care for Raichu. I think Raichu is just there. I think...
Oh, what? What did Raichu do to you?
I was never interested in Raichu. I just don't think that Raichu is an interesting Pokemon. Initial instinct was that Pikachu would go to upper tier Shiny Charizard, but you are right. It is so iconic. It is so kind of necessary to the franchise that it kind of deserves a place on the top percentile. Raichu, I would put it into be the very best, personally.
We could concede it Shiny Charizard.
I'm willing to negotiate Raichu into Shiny Charizard. I do not think it deserves to be that high, but if you want it in the top percentage category, then I think that's a fair compromise.
I'll put him in Shiny Charizard then as a compromise, because I know what you mean. I think he gets a bad rap because he's related to Pikachu, and I think that because he's related to Pikachu that a lot of people go, oh look, it's the famous sibling, just the weird cousin in the corner. It's like, who's that? And speaking of orange and fluffy, next we have two creatures that I've just realised aren't orange and fluffy.
They're neither those things, they're yellow and hard.
We have Sandshrew and Sandslash. I personally, I don't know about you, but I personally do really like these Pokemon.
I also quite like these Pokemon. I think that Sandshrew looks really cute, and I think Sandslash looks cool. Sandslash is like Wolverine almost.
And a hedgehog when he rolls up.
That's true. You don't really see him roll up.
You see him in Pokemon Let's Go. When he's moving behind you, he rolls in a ball.
Oh, that's so cute. I've not had Sandslash walk behind me before in Pokemon Let's Go. That's really cute.
I would personally say they're probably shiny Charizard tier, but what are your thoughts? Or do you think it should be lower and I want to be the very best? Because it is quite a hard one.
I think Sandshrew be the very best, and I'd say Sandslash lower tier shiny Charizard for me.
That's a fair shout. I mean, Sandshrew is pretty damn cute, not gonna lie. So next up, we have the Nidoqueen line. We've got Nidoran female, we've got Nidorina, and we've got Nidoqueen. This is gonna sound bad of me, but I personally think the Nidoking line are a lot cooler looking. I've never really been a fan of this line. At a push, I would say want to be the very best.
What's the second evolution called again?
Nidorina.
Nidorina is my favorite of the three. Going off the 6, I would say Nidoking is my favorite, then Nidorina, then Nidorino.
Really?
And then Nidoqueen, and then Nidoran. Their names are all too similar to each other. I can never remember this evolution line. Purple one, I'd say blue first gen is the worst, then purple first gen, then Nidoqueen, then purple second gen, then blue second gen, then Nidoking for me. What is your preferred order? Like, what do you think is the best?
Personally, I think the male Nidoran line are quite cool, and I think maybe that's because of the opening for the games in the anime, where you've got Nidorino fighting against Gengar.
Mm-hmm.
I think that pulls it for me, but I've never liked the Nidoran line for the female side. I don't know why, if it's just the design or I know what you're going to say.
You bigot.
Like, genuinely, I don't know what it is. It's just, I think it's okay. I think it's cool, but compared to a poison bunny and 4 legs, and then you've got Nidoking that just looks like he's going to trash through your house. I mean, personally, I would put at least Nidorino. I think Nidorina and Nidorino, the two middle evolutions, I would put them in shiny Charizard, and I would probably put Nidoking in either low top percent of Rattata to shiny Charizard.
I'm of the same opinion for Nidoking. I think it kind of falls between the two. I'd be willing to put it into the top percentage of Rattatas because I did always grow up thinking it was like one of the coolest Pokemon. Nidoqueen never really interested me, and I guess it's because it didn't look as cool as Nidoking, but I think I prefer Nidorina to Nidorino. I think that's a more interesting kind of Pokemon than Nidorino is. First off, put Nidoking in top percentage. I want to argue Nidorina to be shiny Charizard.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I would say Nidorino and shiny Charizard as well, though. That's my only concession there.
Okay, if I get to have Nidorina in there, then you get to have Nidorino in there.
We did it, Andrew. We solved equality.
Once you get to the top, it's all men.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say Nidoran, both male and female. Probably I want to be the very best.
I would probably put Nidoran female in okay, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that in the very start of the Game Grumps episode, that when Professor Oak is explaining Pokemon to you, he releases a female Nidoran and they just sort of scream.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Other than that, it was always just kind of like, it was there in the tall grass. You'd kind of encounter and be like, oh, it's this thing.
What about the other Nidoran? Probably an okay, I guess, as well.
Yeah, upper level of okay, I guess. I don't think it's as good as a lot of the Pokemon in the rest of the B tier. Nidoqueen is a tough one for me because I think Nidoqueen is somewhere between be the best and okay, I guess. I could put it in either.
Will we put it in wanna be the very best?
Sure.
I'm not the biggest fan, personally, but I don't think it's overly offensive. It's still recognisable in terms of them. But speaking of recognisable, we have surprisingly, one of the other mascots of the series. We have Clefairy and Clefable, which I still can't believe they were going to be the mascots for the girl version of Pokemon.
Oh, was it going to be the girl version? I thought it was just going to be the version. I thought it was just like instead of Pikachu, it was going to be Clefairy.
Well, that might be a rumour, because there was rumours of a Pokemon Pink version, and people were saying, oh, it's for... I could be wrong in that. I'm sure it was like, one for girls, one for boys, they were thinking initially, and then they were going to move it to Clefairy, and then we chose Pikachu. It's a whole jumbled mess. But yeah, they were formerly going to be a mascot of some variety, but I'm going to be honest, okay, I guess, or I want to be the very best.
Yeah, I would put both in that category.
Okay, I guess, or...
Yeah, I'd put both of them in okay, I guess.
The only thing I will say is they're damn lucky I'm not putting them in your Darcel's Moo Moo Milk after that horrific minigame.
Which one was that again?
It was like you had to follow the directions on the D-pad.
Oh, I think I remember that.
And you got bonked by a hammer if you didn't do it right, and it was the most frustrating game ever.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so they're lucky they're not in that tier. Next up, we have Vulpix and Ninetales. Vulpix and Ninetales, I would say probably B, to be honest. Like, maybe Shiny Charizard for Ninetales, but Vulpix, I would say B.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I'd say Vulpix, B tier, Ninetales, Shiny Charizard. They're cool. They're some of the earliest fire Pokemon you can get in the game. Ninetales you can only get with Firestone though, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I remember that being a bit of an annoying thing, but it looks cool. It's based on Japanese folklore. I like it. It's cool.
Next, we've got a Voltorb. Oh, sorry. No, that's a Jigglypuff from Up High. That reference will never get old. I would say Wigglytuff would be in the B tier, but I would say Jigglypuff's in Shiny Rattata tier, purely just because of how iconic it was in the anime.
I agree with both of those. I don't have strong opinions either way. Jigglypuff is pretty iconic. She's like the Miss Piggy of the Pokemon world, and they have, of course, the iconic stuff in the anime where her singing makes everyone fall asleep. She draws in their faces. Love it. Not quite top tier, but we do stand a Jigglypuff.
Zubat and Golbat, I would personally say your Darcel's Moo Moo Milk. Do you have any objections to that one?
Golbat, I would put in okay, I guess. Personally, do you strongly feel Moo Moo Milk for them?
Only for Zubat, just because of how annoying they are in the caves.
Yeah, I mean, Golbat's also very annoying, to be fair.
He's less prevalent. I will agree. He's okay. He's not bad to use, but I don't like his face. I don't like his long tongue that comes out of nowhere, because he's not got a stomach.
Yeah, where does his food go?
He's just a mouth. He's a mouth with legs. He's like Mike Wazowski with wings.
People have said that about me, Satsu. People have said that about me.
Oh, true. For the next one, we have a line that I have to apologise for after the Living in the Pokemon World episode. We have Oddish, Gloom, and Vileplume. Oddish, I would say maybe B, purely because I'm apologising for saying that it gets milked. Gloom, I would say in your Darcel's Moo Moo Milk tier, because I've never liked it. And Vileplume, maybe, and I want to be the very best as well.
Yeah, I could get on board with that. Vileplume's kind of annoying again because it requires a stone to evolve it. I feel like it was one of those ones where you like learn to use stones for it. Not so much like, I guess Eevee mostly falls into that bracket. I feel like Vileplume is one of the first ones you use a stone on. Same kind of situation as Butterfree. It's kind of feels just like a stat effect Pokemon. You don't really get much from it. Oddish is very cute. Again, someone you meet very early on and can be quite useful if you went down like the fire route to try and beat Brock at Pewter Gym, is to get an Oddish, so you could use some grass moves to kind of get past Brock. Otherwise, I would probably say Oddish, B tier, Gloom, your dad says Moo Moo Milk, and then Vileplume, somewhere between B and okay, I guess.
So the next one we've got, personally, I would say your Darcel's Moo Moo Milk for these ones are the Paris lines, purely because they're just nightmare fuel.
They are pretty horrific, and like the Pokemon entry behind them, they're essentially like that fungal parasite. I'm happy to put them in Daz's Moo Moo Milk because they creeped me out as a kid. I didn't like them. I didn't like the white eyes. Is it Parasect?
Parasect has, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like Parasect's like milky white eyes. At least with Paras, it has pupils. Parasect just looks like a zombie. Like it's actually horrifying.
Yeah, and plus its body's a mushroom as opposed to the two small mushrooms on Paris.
Yeah, it's completely overwhelmed by the parasite. It's incredibly disturbing.
So for the next one, we have Venonat and Venomoth. I would say Venonat, at least for the first one, is potentially in Shiny Charizard.
Oh, wow, really?
Maybe low Shiny Charizard or high I want to be the very best.
What's your reasoning for that?
I just think it looks cute. Even though it's a bug type, it's just like a ball of fluff. I mean, look at it, which is ironic because it evolves into a moth. So it's a literal moth ball.
I was going to say it's a mothball. It's a pun. It's a dad pun, which does elevate it slightly, I guess. I do not agree it should be in Shiny Charizard. I think the jokiness of it and the fact it's kind of cute elevates it from okay, I guess, to B tier for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say B tier then.
Venomoth, I never was really interested in.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, and I think it falls into that category exactly. I think it's an okay Pokemon.
Now, Diglett. The thing is, I like it well enough, but I feel as if it's too simplistic.
It is quite boring. There's a lot of puns around it, a lot of memes around it. Like there's an enjoyment to be had of both Diglett and Dugtrio. And like within the game, once you get to Vermilion City and that you don't have a Pokemon that can fight against electric types, then going to the Diglett Cave and getting ground or rock type Pokemon can be very useful. And so that makes Diglett a bit more valuable than it would otherwise be. Its moveset is a bit kind of whatever. Dig is just kind of an annoying version of Fly.
I mean, I would personally maybe say Diglett's I want to be the very best, but Dugtrio is okay, I guess.
3 is not better than 1.
No, it's not. Bigger isn't better, as I say.
Sure, Diglett's kind of cute as well, so I'm happy to do that.
Next, we have Meowth and Persian. I would say Meowth. See, if we're basing it on the anime, I would put him up in Shiny Charizard tier. If we're basing them on the Pokemon, I would relegate him to I want to be the very best, and Persian on okay, I guess.
I personally would definitely put Persian in okay, I guess. I don't really hold any attachment to it. It's the bad guy Pokemon from Team Rocket. That's kind of what all it was to me, because Giovanni had one in the anime. Potentially also he had one in his gym, I can't remember. But I didn't really have much attachment to Persian. I thought Persian was just kind of there. I'm not really a cat person as well, so I never really was drawn to Persian. Meowth, yeah, you have the nostalgia for the anime for sure. You have Meowth for that. I don't think that it otherwise I like Meowth very much.
Yeah.
So I do think it would probably falls into B tier in my opinion. Do you have a strong case that you want it to be in Shiny Charizard?
Nah, not really. As I said, if it was anime only, he would be a lot higher, but I agree, I'm not a big fan of fighting with him. I don't think I've really ever used a Meowth, to be honest, but just not his biggest fan. I wouldn't say he's okay, I guess, because he's still iconic as a design, but
Yeah.
nah, I'll agree with that.
He has Payday or something, doesn't he? That's like his special move.
Yeah, he can get money off the ground, which is useful, but other than that, yeah. Now, hear me out here. Golduck, I think, is probably lower tier. Like, I want to be the very best or okay, I guess. Psyduck, on the other hand, I'm going to make a case for it being the top percent of Rattata.
Really?
I mean, look at that chubby face. I mean, I'll even go as low as Shiny Charizard, but look at that chubby face. Tell that boy he's going lower. I don't know. I think the design for Psyduck is a lot better than Golduck.
Yeah, Golduck is kind of just like meh. I'd be willing to even put Golduck into Professor OK, I guess, just because I don't really like it that much. Psyduck's pretty cute. I do like Psyduck. I can't, with goodwill, put it into the top percentage of Rattatas. I just can't. But Shiny Charizard, I'd be willing to put Psyduck in there. So we're doing Psyduck in Shiny Charizard, Golduck in Professor OK, I guess. All right. We move on to the monkey line.
Mankey and Primeape.
Yeah, Monkey and Primate. I did not like these Pokemon. I found them really annoying in the anime. I found them annoying in games. I just don't really enjoy them. What is your opinion on these Pokemon?
I would say that Primeape, at the very least, is I want to be the very best. Mankey, on the other hand, okay, I guess. I feel as if he's quite annoying to use until you get him to Primeape. The only reason I like Primeape is because I caught a shiny version of him in the very first Nuzlocke that I did in Leaf Green, and it really got me through the battle, so much so that it got itself killed fighting Gary's Blastoise, of all things. It sacrificed itself for that, so I would at least have it in B tier, but yeah, for Mankey I would say okay, I guess.
I'm willing to put Mankey even lower than that in your Sells Moo Moo Milk.
I don't think he's that bad, to be honest. He's not offensive, that's the thing. The other ones we've got in that tier are either annoying or just hideous looking. I would argue that Mankey doesn't deserve to be amongst that. You can't do my boy like that.
Alright, I'm willing to put Mankey in the lower tier of okay, I guess, and Primate in the lower tier of be the best, yeah.
So next we have your favourites, actually.
I love him. I love him so much. I'm going to make a strong case for Growlithe being low tier shiny Charizard, upper tier want to be the very best, Arcanine being top percentage of Rattatas.
Which is quite funny because that's Gary's team there with Arcanine and Nidoking beside one another.
I'm harnessing my inner Gary motherfucking Oak.
Now, for the next 3 ones, for the Poliwag, Poliwhirl, Poliwrath, I would say that Poliwhirl is top percent of Rattatas. I make a strong argument for that. But the others, I would say probably B tier, if not Shiny Charizard.
What is your argument for Poliwhirl?
I just think he looks really iconic because he is one of those Pokemon you see and you do think, wow, it sounds stupid to say, wow, that's a Pokemon, but I do think out the 3 of them, he looks the best. And he is definitely one of those, this is going to sound weird to say, he's got mascot energy. Whereas I don't think Poliwrath has that. He just gets wider and angrier. And Poliwag's cute, but I wouldn't say he's cute enough to be top percent.
Okay, I got them mixed up, to be honest.
Okay, I thought we were about to throw hands there. Poliwhirl, sorry.
Yeah, I was wondering why you were going to bat for Poliwag. I was like, Poliwag's just kind of there.
I would say that's a B tier, easily.
Poliwag is cute in that it's a little tadpole and you've got a little tadpole tail.
But that's about it.
I like the little spirally belly thingy because I've seen real life versions of these where they've got like the transparent stomach and you can see like the little intestines. Poliwag, I would put lower B tier. I don't have particularly strong feelings towards Poliwrath and Poliwhirl. The one nostalgia I have, and I actually, to be honest, don't know which of the two it was because they do kind of look the same to me. Poliwrath just looks a little angrier. Otherwise, it's the same Pokemon, which I feel like is kind of a demotion for probably Poliwrath and that it just isn't very original to Poliwhirl. One of the two I had a little clay version of that you got to paint with like watercolors. And so that's somewhere still in my home in Scotland. And so I remember fondly having that and painting that. I also have a 3-star Pokemon, I think, and that same thing. Where did you want Poliwhirl to go?
I would personally say Poliwhirl's definitely top percent of Rattata. Maybe a low tier top percent, but I would still say deserves to be there. But I do agree with Poliwrath. I think he is not as distinct enough. He just looks the same because I know they diverged later on in Gen 2 where they had Politoed.
We're not talking about Gen 2, but I don't like Politoed.
No, me neither. No, I can't even remember what we rated it, but it wasn't high. It really wasn't high. Yeah, so I would say Poliwag and Poliwrath, the two are probably B, and I would personally say Poliwhirl as top tier.
I will permit Poliwhirl top tier. I will concede that since I've had Arcanine up there. I think Poliwrath is B tier, probably like mid B tier. I think Poliwag is probably upper okay, I guess.
So would you say Poliwrath for B tier?
Yeah, upper B tier or mid B tier.
So the next line we've got is the Abracadabra, Alakazam. I really like these Pokemon, I'm not going to lie. I think these are definitely the more iconic of the original 150.
Counterpoint, fuck Abra and teleportation.
Your dad sells Moo Moo Milk. In fact, no, sorry. I would probably say okay, I guess, for Abra then.
Yeah, Abra I just found very annoying. I did want an Abra so that I could get the stronger psychic type Pokemon because that line is kind of the strongest you can really get at that point. Abra was just annoying to try and catch because it would just teleport away if you didn't like put it to sleep or paralyze it or something straight away. We're settling on okay, I guess, for Abra. Kadabra's cool.
Yeah, I really like him.
I would go as much to say Kadabra's shiny Charizard for me.
I would definitely say he is at minimum shiny Charizard and at best top percent. I would vote him probably above Alakazam purely because Alakazam was a lot harder to get because you had to trade him over.
That was going to be my exact point. Alakazam, like if you did not have the wire to do the exchanges or friends to do the exchanges, I'm not confident I ever got Alakazam until maybe you and I played together.
Yeah.
Any of the Pokemon that involved a transfer to evolve, I don't recall ever getting them. So yeah, I'm going to have a very negative impact on my voting for those Pokemon as a result of that, with a couple of exceptions.
So will we say shiny Charizard for Kadabra and want to be the very best for Alakazam?
Yeah, I'd say lower, be the very best, just because of how annoying it is to get Alakazam. My strongest memory of Alakazam is just from the Pokemon movie where you get absolutely murked by Mewtwo and like the spoon's bent. Also, the factoid about Alakazam, or maybe it might have just been Kadabra, of that psychic Uri Geller suing Pokemon over his likeness being used for Kadabra and Alakazam.
I think it was only the last couple of years they got that resolved. I could be wrong in that. Or I say the last couple of years, the 2020s have been a blur. So it could have been a lot earlier, but...
Yeah, Yeah. Was it not one of those as well that had a whole thing where like the Pokemon card had like a symbol on it that had to be removed? Was either a religious symbol or it was like a swastika or it was something?
That was Golbat.
Oh.
I think it was something to do with Koga's gym or something. It was obviously meant to be like a temple, I think, or something like that. But obviously the symbol doesn't translate very well to the West. So they had to completely change the design of the card. They had to do a lot of design changes, actually. So yeah, we've got the Machamp line. I'm going to be honest, Machop, okay, I guess. Machoke, I want to be the very best. And Machamp, maybe I want to be the very best. Or Shiny Charizard.
Machamp again is another one you have to trade to get, so I'm hesitant to put it in there. I do like Machoke, to be honest. So I would personally have Machoke, Shiny Charizard, Machamp, okay, I guess. And Machop, I would put in okay, I guess.
Now, this might be semi-controversial, but I would say the Bellsprout line should automatically go in your Darcel's Moo Moo Milk.
Yes, with exception for Bellsprout being upper okay, I guess, because I do kind of like it.
I just don't like the designs, to be honest. Just the gaping mouth, it's too weird. Tentacool and Tentacruel, I would put them in okay, I guess, just because they're purely annoying.
It is annoying to encounter them so often, but Tentacruel is actually pretty cool. I would put it lower tier, be the very best personally, but
I'll agree with that.
But Tentacool is annoying. You encounter it too often. I would put it in your Darcel's Moo Moo Milk or lower tier okay, I guess. What is your kind of preference?
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. Well, I would say that Tentacruel is I want to be the very best, and Tentacool would be okay, I guess. It's annoying, but I don't think it's your Darcel's Moo Moo Milk tier.
That's fair.
Now, here's a proposition for you. I think for the next ones, Geodude is probably Shiny Charizard tier.
Interesting. What's your reasoning?
I mean, it's a rock with arms. How many properties have you seen Popeye the Rock with arms here? Golem's quite cool as well. I would say he's like one to be the very best, but I don't like Graveler.
I'm of the exact same opinion. I would do Geodude, yeah. For lower Shiny Charizard, Golem between be the best and Shiny Charizard, because I think Golem's pretty cool, but you do need to do the trade to get him, which is annoying. So I think that demotes him down to be the very best. And then Graveler sucks. I put in okay, I guess. It was like the thing from Basket Case.
Next, we have Ponyta and Rapidash.
I love both of these. Rapidash in particular, I think is really cool. I would make an argument for Rapidash going in the top percentage of Rattatas and Ponyta being upper, be the best, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with you on that. It's definitely the more, again, it's the same thing with Poliwhirl and Pikachu. You know, they're very iconic. You see it and you go, oh, that's a Pokemon. You don't just think, oh, it's a horse on fire. Oh, Jesus. Next we have, I'm going to be honest, for the next two, I would say top percent of Rattata.
For both of them?
Yeah, I mean, look at those faces. How can you say no to those faces?
I knew that was going to be your argument because that was also my argument. I do love their faces. I don't really like them as Pokemon, though. I don't think they deserve to be in the top percentage of Rattatas. Slowbro, I would put lower tier Shiny Charizard, and Slowpoke, I would put upper tier be the very best, personally. What is your... you said top percentage of Rattata. Do you genuinely believe they deserve to be in the top percentage of Rattatas?
At a push, I would put both of them at Shiny Charizard, even if they're lower tier, just because of how iconic they are. Everybody knows, even non-Pokemon fans knows what a Slowpoke is. And Slowbro, because, yeah, let's face it, he's a psychic Slowpoke. I feel, though, say for the next one, for Magnemite and Magneton, I'm going to use the same argument for Diglett. I would say Magnemite's definitely a strong, I want to be the very best, but Magneton is just okay, I guess, because it's just 3 Magnemites put together.
Yeah, it is pretty boring. There's a lot there of like that. Like, we're going to come up to Duo and Doug Trio in a second. I don't really like either of them, to be honest, and you're walking through the laboratory, I think it is. They're just like everywhere, and it's kind of annoying. And they've got Confuse Ray, which is really annoying. Where did you say you would put them again?
Be the very best for Magnemite and okay, I guess, for Magneton.
I'm okay with that.
Farfetch'd, I would say Shiny Charizard minimum. I know it's basic, but it's a duck with a leak, and I will die on this hill.
Fine.
I was going to say Rattata, but...
No, you would not convince me to put in Rattata. That would have been a step too far.
Dodo and Dotrio? Again, same argument. I want to be the very best for Dodo and Dotrio. Okay, I guess. It's the same idea.
Yeah, it's just boring.
Seal and Dugong.
I kind of like them, to be honest.
I like Seal, but Dugong's noises really creep me out.
I impersonate Dugong more than probably any other Pokemon because I think it's just fun to make that noise.
Oh, true. Would you say high B tier, low Shiny Charizard?
I would put them both high B tier personally. Okay.
You're da. Surely.
I think Grimer goes in your da, and I think Muck goes into okay.
No, I would say the opposite.
Oh, okay.
Grimer looks a lot happier I mean, look at him, he looks... But then again, he has that controversy with the trading card. I personally flip them around. I would say Muck is in low tier. Your dad sells Moo Moo Milk, and Grimer's okay, I guess, but we could compromise and put them
both in the bottom tier. Yeah, I'm way ahead of you there. They're already in the bottom tier. They put themselves there. They have no self-respect.
Shelder and Cloyster. I like Shelder.
I've never been a big fan personally, but what is your argument for Shelder? Just the tongue sticking out?
Yeah, it just looks cute, but I would probably say B tier, to be honest. It looks cute, but it's not high tier, I would say.
I'd say lower B tier, yeah. Cloyster's kind of cool, I guess, but I don't know. Yeah, is it another poison water type?
No, I think it's just water type. I don't know if it's supposed to be water ice, because I know Lorelei or whatever her name is, she uses it.
It has very high defense stats, which are always really annoying to beat. But yeah, I think both in B tier.
Now, here's where we get to the real meat of it. We have the Ghastly line, and I'll just save us some time here. I would personally say Haunter Gengar or top Rattata tier, and Ghastly is maybe Shiny Charizard or high I want to be the very best.
Where did you want Ghastly, sorry?
Probably Shiny Charizard or I want to be the very best.
No, I think Ghastly deserves to be mid B. I don't think it's much higher than that. I do think Haunter is probably upper B, lower Shiny Charizard for me. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I would put Haunter and Gengar at top percent of Rattata. Gengar, definitely.
Okay, so my argument about like you needing to trade things to get them, the exception being for me Gengar, because I think Gengar is just really cool. I would put Gengar in the top percent of Rattatas, but Haunter, I'd put Shiny Charizard personally. What argument can you make towards it deserving the top place?
I just think it looks really cool, but I will concede if it came between the two of them, then Gengar would be up there on the top percent of Rattatas. So yeah, no, I can concede to Shiny Charizard tier for Haunter.
I'll put it in like the upper Shiny Charizard then.
Onyx, I'm going to be honest, okay, I guess. Maybe low. I want to be the very best tier.
I kind of like Onyx. I would go to bat for at least B tier for me. It's quite iconic to me. Brock had one. It's one of the first gym Pokemon you face against, and it feels like a real achievement once you've beaten it. So I think it deserves B tier personally.
Now, these next two, yeah, your dad says Moo Moo Milk, unless you can convince me otherwise.
I can't and won't. I feel like it's almost controversial to try and defend these two because they are creepy and give off vibes that you do not want to discuss in more depth.
Moving on swiftly, we have Krabby and Kingler. Yeah, I would put Krabby and I want to be the very best, I have to say. And Kingler maybe in Shiny Charizard.
I would put Krabby upper mid, be the very best, and Kingler lower Shiny Charizard because I like both of them. I think they're cool. They have the anime connection going for them. I think they're fun.
Now, what about the next ones? Because we've got Voltorb and Electrodes. I'd say okay, I guess. I've never really used them.
And they do explode on you, which is just a Nuzlocke disaster.
Oh god, don't get me started on that. Yeah, they are the worst to come up against.
Yeah, I'll put them in okay, I guess, personally.
I'm actually curious to hear your opinions on the next two, Execute and Executor.
I've never really been a big fan of them. I've always kind of found them a bit just meh. It's just some cracked eggs and a palm tree. I would personally put both in okay, I guess. Yeah. Possibly Executor in lower be the very best. But yeah, I don't rate them particularly highly.
No, I'm going to agree with that.
Where would you place Executor?
Literally just the same. Pokemon okay, I guess.
Both of them okay, I guess? Okay.
Cubone and Marowak. I have a very strong case for top tier, for the top tier of Rattatas.
For both?
No, just for Cubone. Marowak, I would say, is B tier, A tier, maybe. But the reason being is that Cubone...
Just the lore?
Well, yeah, its mum's dead. Are you going to really put a Pokemon whose mum's just died down below? I don't know. What are your thoughts for that?
Yeah, I never really... Like, Marowak was kind of cool, I guess. But yeah, I didn't hold that strong a relationship to it. Cubone is cute, has a sad story. Did you want it in the top tier?
Honestly, I would go for Shiny Charizard for it.
Yeah, I think lower Shiny Charizard for me for Cubone. Marowak, I'd put upper to mid, be the very best.
Next, we've got Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. I would put them in B, I would say.
They're both the most B. Like, they're like the case point for B. They're just not particularly interesting.
I mean, I used to like Hitmonchan because you used to get the elemental punches, but...
They're not very strong, though, the actual elemental punches. They're just there.
I actually used Hitmonchan in my very first Nuzlocke, and they got absolutely bodied immediately. So I don't have fond memories of them. I'm going to let you take the next one.
I do not like Lickitung. I have never really liked Lickitung. I did not really enjoy the joke in the anime where it is kind of licked up and down the body of, I want to say, James.
And Jesse, yeah.
Even as a kid, I was like, not a fan of that. So it would be upper, your dad sells Moo Moo Milk, lower, okay, I guess, for me. What are your thoughts?
If it wasn't for the big tongue, I would put him in okay, I guess. But the whole licking thing, hashtag cancel lickatongue. Yeah, I would say your dad sells Moo Moo Milk for him. Coughing for me is either I want to be the very best or shiny Charizard, but wheezing I could do without in my life, to be quite honest. I always feel as if coughing is very happy. He's living his life, but wheezing looks like a depressed smoker.
Yeah, coughing's the cool, like...
The cool uncle.
No, coughing's like you're in university, you're having maybe a bit of a social smoke, things are still good in your life, and then wheezing's like, I've continued that lifestyle for the rest of my life, and now I have another me growing on top. So yeah, I agree. And like you get the little kind of like coffee mugs that have coughing on it, which is cute. So I would put coughing upper B tier, wheezing lower, okay, I guess, upper your dad sells Moo Moo Milk.
I would put him at, okay, I guess. Like, I don't think he's the worst, but he's teetering on the edge. He's definitely teetering on the edge.
All right, next up.
Rhydon and Rhyhorn. I would put Rhydon at I want to be the very best, but Rhyhorn at okay, I guess. Like, he's okay, but he's not... I don't think there's anything really special about him, other than the fact he's a rocky rhinoceros.
Rhyhorn is okay. He's just kind of there. He's probably definition of okay, I guess. Maybe upper okay, I guess. Rhydon, pretty cool. He's a bit like Nidoking in a way. You could see them like fighting against each other and being like two bros. You could see Nidoking and like Rhydon doing the Predator handshake with each other, like they're cool bros. He does kind of feel like the predecessor to the third generation's Aggron, which is like a much better version of him, but he's still pretty cool. I would put probably shiny Charizard.
Okay, I'll boost them up. But what about Rhyhorn?
Oh, okay, I guess.
Chansey, I would personally put a shiny Charizard.
Oh wow, okay, interesting.
It's not my favourite Pokemon to use, and I feel as if it's quite annoying to catch, but I think that it's quite iconic, just maybe purely because of the Pokemon Center, because it's always there, it's got a nice face, it's quite kind looking, I don't know, it could shank you at the back of the Pokemart or the Pokemon Hospital, the Poke Center, but I mean, I could put her be the best. But what are your thoughts on that?
I would have personally put Chansey in upper okay, I guess. So I think kind of compromise be the best probably makes the most sense. Tangela.
Yeah, your dad sells Moo Moo Milk. Sure.
Yeah, I don't like Tangela. Like it would probably be upper dad says Moo Moo Milk, lower okay, I guess. So I'll put upper your dad says Moo Moo Milk because you seem to not like it.
Kangaskhan.
I like the episode in the Pokemon series with Kangaskhan, but like as a Pokemon, it's just kind of there, and you have to go to Safari Zone to get it. It's just kind of an annoying Pokemon to try and catch.
I always find it's a weird Pokemon because it's two Pokemon in one.
You're hitting a mother and a child. You just feel wrong just all around.
So okay, I guess.
Yeah, upper okay, I guess.
Horsey and Seadra. I would say Horsey's okay, I guess, but Seadra's probably better, and I want to be the very best.
Yeah, I can get more with that. Goldeen is rubbish.
Your dad sells Moo Moo Milk, by far. I don't like Goldeen and Seeking. I would even go as far to say your dad sells Moo Moo Milk for them.
I would put lower okay, I guess, personally.
But no, Goldeen one of them has to stay in your dad sells Moo Moo Milk.
Starmie, upper okay, I guess, for me.
Really?
Staryu, lower B tier.
Really? You prefer Staryu to Starmie?
Yeah, I like the colour scheme more.
What, you prefer the brown to the purple?
Oh, I got them mixed up then.
Swapping around. Yes, Staryu is the first evolution. Starmie is the second one.
Doesn't sound right on the tongue.
I know. Mr. Mime, yeah, I don't think...
That sells Moo Moo Milk.
Scyther, I would go as far to say potentially high shiny Charizard, low top percentage.
I love Scyther, actually. I'm with you. I think probably top percentage.
I don't know, there's just something about him.
I also like mimicking his voice as well, like Scyther! Sorry for everyone listening at home. Jinx, your dad sells Moo Moo Milk, I'm sorry.
Done. And for these, I'm going to group these three together because they are, for some reason, they're always... In fact, no, sorry, they're
Really?
grouped together with Jinx, but Jinx is gone now, so...
Can I put Electabuzz and Magmar together, but Pinsir and Jinx is... I didn't really consider them to all be together.
Well, yeah, no, I think Pinsir was just at the wrong place at the wrong time there, to be fair.
I like Electabuzz and I like Pinsir. I'd put them both B tier. Magmar I don't like and I think goes to okay, I guess, personally.
Yeah, I think he's just survived it okay, I guess. Tauros, I would put him at B, maybe, but either B...
Lower B, he is just a bull.
He's got 3 tails.
He has got 3 tails.
Top percentage, surely.
I knew you were going to say that. Controversially, I don't mind him. I think B tier, personally. Lower B tier.
For Magikarp.
Yeah, for Magikarp.
Did I tell you I caught a Magikarp with a Master Ball once?
Of course you did.
In my defence, I was playing Sword and Shield, and you know how you get the Den raids? And I remember I went down and I saw a shiny Magikarp there, and I thought, oh, that's cool. That must be really rare. So I threw my Master Ball and caught it, because I was like, oh, I really want a shiny Gyarados. And then I went down to the next Den, I had a shiny Magikarp. So what I didn't realise was it was an event going on, so they were all shiny. So it was like, Aladdin, where it's like, that Magikarp shiny, you idiot. They're all
shiny.
No, it was embarrassing. I would put Gyarados, though, probably in shiny Charizard tier.
I love Gyarados. I do think that he is sometimes overhyped, but I do like him. So, like, if you'd said top tier, I would have probably argued down to shiny Charizard. But yeah, I'm happy for shiny Charizard for sure.
Now, for Lapras, personally, and this might be controversial, I would put him in top percent of Rattata.
Really interesting. That's not where I thought you were about to go there.
I just feel as if out of all of them, there's not really a Pokemon, at least in this generation, that looks like Lapras. I mean, it's so iconic that, remember how it became the sprite for whenever you surfed?
Yeah, that does make it pretty iconic. It's pretty iconic from the anime for various reasons.
Yeah, I would personally say top percent, just purely for that. But for its iconicness, I would say.
I would personally argue for shiny Charizard, but if you are quite passionate about it, I'm willing to concede to upper tier.
I mean, that, and it's just our version of the Loch Ness Monster in Pokemon.
It is that. I was also thinking about that, to be honest. We've got so many Pokemon there now that I'm struggling. I have to zoom out on my screen to be able to put it.
Now, Ditto, I would say B. Maybe shiny Charizard at a push, but
I'm the opposite.
What, you think okay, I guess?
Yeah, I think at a push B, I think probably pretty solid okay, I guess. I don't particularly like Ditto.
I would say just for the face alone, maybe B, but like a very low B.
I will put it in a low B, yeah. My argument, Eevee, Rattata.
I agree.
I love Eevee. I think Eevee is so cute. I think Eevee is on par with Pikachu in terms of how cute as a mascot it is. Evolutions. I think we might have some opinions on the placement of these.
I'd say B tier for all of them.
Oh, okay. I disagree.
Maybe Jolteon at shiny Charizard, but...
That is my agreement, and
yeah.
Flareon for me goes in okay, I guess. I don't like Flareon very much.
Out of all of them, Flareon's my least favourite, and Vaporeon is alright.
There.
Yeah, just there. But the next one, on the other hand, I'm going to fight tooth and nail to at the very least get shiny Charizard for him. Porygon. Again, he's very iconic. I mean, if it was me doing this list alone, 100% would be top percent of Rattata, but I feel as if at the very least shiny Charizard, just purely because he is, I mean, obviously other than I'm a huge Porygon simp, but I feel as if he's very unique in his design again. It's that case of he looks more like a Digimon than a Pokemon.
I was going to say, he looks like a Digimon. I've never used Porygon. I never liked Porygon.
Because it was so hard to get, yeah.
I would get him, but he's pretty firmly an okay, I guess, for me. So if you want to negotiate to upper B tier.
Yeah, as I said, personally, I think you're doing my boy an injustice, but...
That's fair enough.
In the words of the Poke Rap, it's downhill from here. We've not got many to go now. I would say for most of the fossils, I want to be the very best, except Omnistar. I'm not a big fan of him. I would say he's okay, I guess. Omanite, the first one, I'd say he's probably in B tier. So personally, I would say B, C, B, 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 maybe at a push.
What's the one with the sword hands?
Kabutops.
That's a shiny Charizard for me.
That's fair.
Lower shiny Charizard. The rest, all B to okay, I guess, in my opinion. The pterodactyl one, upper B for me. And then the rest, lower B to okay, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably Kabutops and in fact, Kabutops and the other two are probably both upper okay, I guess, for me personally, but I'm willing to concede some of them to B if you think strongly enough about them.
I would say they are probably deserving of B tier, except for Omnistar. I don't know what it is about Omnistar. I just don't like him. I don't like the fact he stands on his two tentacle legs, but I would say personally they're in okay. Oh, sorry, and I want to be the very best.
All right, I put Omnistar in okay, I guess, and the other two in lower B.
Snorlax.
Shiny Charizard.
I don't know. I feel as if a certain someone would beat us up if we didn't put him higher. Definitely shiny Charizard tier, but I mean, look at that face. Nice. We'll go for that then. For the legendary birds, now I'm in the same boat as the evolutions. I think Zapdos, Shiny, Charizard, maybe Articuno, and I want to be the very best.
Upper be the very best for me.
Yeah, and Moltres definitely okay, I guess. I've never liked Moltres.
Yeah, I'm not a bit of a Moltres fan either. All right, these fuckers were always hard for me to get, and I think Dragonite required a trade to evolve it.
No, I don't think it does. It's just a really high evolution.
Oh, that'll be it. Yeah, I just had to get it to a high evolution. I'm not confident I ever got it, except until Let's Go Eevee. But yeah, I would say B, okay, lower Shiny Charizard.
Lower Shiny Charizard for all of them.
No, first one B, second one okay, third one Shiny Charizard.
The second one, okay. What for Dragonair?
Yeah, it's just there.
I don't know. I always thought, like, I'll accept that, but I don't know. I would personally have put it in B.
All right, I'm willing to concede to B.
Like, I would say Dratini, maybe. If I know, I'm going to put him there because I get the feeling we'll get shanked by somebody. So last two, I've got the last two here, Mew and Mewtwo. Personally for me, I would put Mewtwo in top percent of Rattata. Mew on the other hand, I would put in maybe Shiny Charizard at a push.
Yeah, I never felt that strong a connection to Mew. I would put it upper B, lower Shiny Charizard. I'm happy with either.
I'll put it in Shiny Charizard to end on the high then.
It's a pretty well distributed tier list. There's certainly a heavier leaning towards the B tier.
Mm-hmm.
We're a lot more critical than positive I would say.
It's okay, I guess. Oh, here we go. It's time for the poke rap of Chatsunami here. So for our S tier, top percent of Rattata, we have, for the lovely listeners at home wondering, we have Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, Charizard, Blastoise, Pikachu, Nidoking, Arcanine, Poliwhirl, Rapidash, Gengar, Scyther, Lapras, Eevee, and Mewtwo. For Shiny Charizard tier, we have Venusaur, Pidgeotto, Raichu, Sandslash, Nidorino, Nidorina, Ninetales, Jigglypuff, Psyduck, Growlithe, Kadabra, Machoke, Geodude, Slowpoke, Slowbro, Farfetch'd, Haunter, Kingler, Cubone, Rhydon, Gyarados, Jolteon, Kabutops, Snorlax, Zapdos, Dragonite, and Mew.
Then in I Want to Be the Very Best, we have Pterodactyl, Articuno, Porygon, Seal, Dugong, Ponyta, Vaporeon, Krabby, Golem, Charmeleon, Ivysaur, Wartortle, Beedrill, Caterpie, Butterfree, Rattata, Ghastly, Raticate, Artichoke, no.
Articuno.
No, it was the Cobra one. It's called again. Arbok, Sandshrew, Marowak, Poliwrath, Nidoqueen, Vulpix, Wigglytuff, Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, Chansey, Oddish, Vileplume, Venonat, Diglett, Meowth, Primeape, Machamp, Alakazam, Tentacruel, Magnemite, Dugduo? Dugduo, is that his name?
Dodo.
Oh, Dodo. Dudoa?
Do-dee-dee-da-dee-dee-do-do.
All right, Dodo. Shelder, Cloyster, Dragonair, Dratini, Onix, Coughing, Seadra, Starmie, Electabuzz, Pinsir, Tauros, Magikarp, Ditto, Omanyte, Kabuto. And then in Professor OK, I guess, we have Moltres, Omnistar, Flareon, Kangaskhan, Rhyhorn, Executor, Victory Bell, Machop, Poliwag, Nidoran Male, Pidgeot, Kakuna, Staryu, Pidgey, Fearow, Graveler, Ekans, Magneton, Nidoran Female, Clefairy, Clefable, Golbat, Horsey, Venonat, Dugtrio, Persian, Golduck, Electrode, Mankey, Abra, Tentacool, Dotrio, Voltorb, Execute, Weezing, Seaking, Magmar. Do you want to finish off with your Darcel's Moo Moo Milk?
Yep. For your Darcel's Moo Moo Milk, you have Metapod, Weedle, Spearow, Zubat, Gloom, Paris, Parasect, Weeping Bell, Victory Bell, Muck, Grimer, the horrible Wonder Twins, Drowsy and Hypno, Lickitung, Tangela, Goldeen, Mr. Mime, and last and certainly least, Jinx. So that is a fair list, I have to say.
I think we were quite fair with a lot of these. I'll be interested to see if there's many disagreements about it. I'm sure everyone has their own opinions on these, but I think we've been pretty fair with a lot of them.
Yeah, if you have any comments or complaints, please direct them to Andrew, but if he's not in, then you can direct them to @ChatsunamiPod over on Twitter. But on that note, thank you, Andrew, for taking part in this list.
No, thank you so much for having me. It was good fun. Hopefully people have enjoyed this.
Thank you all so much for listening to this episode episode. And as always, please let us know your thoughts either by commenting over on Twitter or reaching out on our contact page at our website, where you can also listen to other episodes at chatsunami.com. I also want to thank our amazing Pandalorian patrons, Robotic Battle Toaster and Sonia. Thank you so much for supporting the show.
If you would like to support us, you can do so on Patreon, which is patreon.com/Chatsunami. You can become a Pandalorian patron, such as Robotic Battle Toaster and Sonia. And yeah, it's a really good way to hear about the latest updates from us, get episodes a week early, and exclusive access to content.
But as always, thank you all so much for listening to this episode. Stay safe, stay awesome, and most importantly, stay hydrated with a glass of Moo Moo Milk.